All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about everything they didn't teach you about the head and arm. That's right, guys. All the things you were never taught about everyone's famous head and arm squeeze people's face off choke, okay? I'm just kidding. But yeah, reality, we're going to talk about the head and arm position. Now, to me, this is a fundamental position that you guys have to have in your game. And we wanted to make this video because, at least from my personal experience, I only see people using it really in one way, and that's to hop off into side control and finish the head and arm choke. Okay? You could do so much more with a head and arm, and so I want to share that. But I also want to share because I also see a lot of people in the gym, they're getting head and arms all day, especially if you're a bigger guy. And a lot of times I think people tap to head and arm because it's just pain. Like they don't actually have a choke. A lot of times they're just smashing your forearm behind their neck here, or you're just smashing their face with their own arm. And yeah, sure, it's a tap, but a lot of times I don't think people actually execute the choke. And the other thing is if you're someone smaller, how do we leverage the position? Because if I'm, like for me, for example, I'm about 158 pounds. If I go against someone like 200 pounds, just like the size maybe like of my arms trying to fit around, the head and arms is probably not going to work on someone a lot bigger than you, especially if they know how to escape. So we need to know how we can leverage the position into other submissions. Okay, what we're also going to talk about are, aside from those alternative options, is the mindset we need to have in head and arm. And that mindset is, don't just look for the quick finish, look to cook them. Look to fatigue your partner. Look to make them want to give up. This is something that I think in jiu-jitsu, people don't really talk about. Everything is very, oh, let me catch this submission. Let me get the submission right away. Fastest way to submit. Fastest, easiest way to like catch a heel hook or a choke. Head and arm, and this is something you see more in wrestling and MMA, is like, when you get to mountain head and arm, you need to fatigue people. Like at the higher levels, everyone has good escape, or no, I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people are hard to finish. And the way that you can finish anyone is by taking their will to fight away. Make them want to quit, make them look for a way out. You hear MMA coaches talk about this a lot. This is something I learned from MMA, and it's actually changed the way that I do jiu-jitsu, because I'm not just hunting submissions. I'm looking to fatigue my opponent to where they want me to, almost want to give me the submission. Okay, so with that being said, I just want you guys to try to prep you for what type of perspective to look at these techniques through, and let's go into it. Okay, so let's talk about the head and arm choke. So traditionally, like, I don't think this is any new information, right? Ideally, when you guys go for a head and arm choke, you want to close all this space on the other side of the neck. A lot of times, the best way to do that is when your partner's bridging and you push the shoulder up. Lock your hands. Some people are doing like a 10 finger now. Some people go gable grip. Some people go forearm. You flare the elbow, and a lot of people like to hop off side control. Okay? And yes, this is a sound way to finish the choke, but let me explain why this isn't ideal. Okay? It's not ideal because if Nate knows how to escape this, like I know this personally for me, is let's just say I go against someone bigger and they lock their hands. They may not have the shoulder lifted and they may not have the choke. A lot of times, I wait for them to hop off, and Nate's going to do kind of like that breaststroke motion as he bridges and arches over his left shoulder. Here, okay, the moment you hop off, okay, you're going to give them a way out. That's really the only real head and arm escape is, again, Nate like kind of doing a breaststroke. He's like turning his arm this way, okay, broadening his shoulders and backing out. Could you muscle through that and flatten them? Yes, of course. Could you chain it to a back take? Yes, of course. But the point is we're in a mounted position. We relieve the control. Now we're dealing with a scramble that we didn't even need to deal with. So that's my first principle, at least for me and what I see. I think if you go for a head and arm, do not hop off to side control. One, you could finish the choke just as tight from mount, okay? And two, if you go to side control, it's going to be much harder to chain to any other submissions. You're probably going to end up losing the control and having to break them down again or hunt for the back. So instead, okay, let's just say he bridges, you're able to cinch that shoulder. When you guys flare the elbow, all you need to do is sag your hip like this, and you guys can finish the choke. Okay, let's look this way, look at my hips. So you don't have to hop all the way off side control. Why do that? Just sag your hip here, and you guys can finish the choke. Okay, but stay in mount. Okay, why might I want to do that? Okay, so I know if I go for the choke, okay, and I sag, okay, we all know I just demonstrated the main way to escape is for Nate to turn, right? Other than just getting his elbow over my head, right? Like finding a way to get his elbow over my head. The only way to escape is to turn away from the choke, right? Okay, or I'm sorry, away from his arm. So if Nate turns, okay, he bridges and he turns, okay, I'm gonna allow him to turn. Notice how he just turned, and I have a claw grip here. This is a great opportunity to chain to a gift wrap here. Now, this is actually what I want more often than not. So if I go against someone big, if I can get to the head and arm position, I don't want to waste and fatigue my arms trying to finish the head and arm. You'll feel it. You'll know when someone knows how to escape, or like of course, if you go against Steve, the guy who has a 9-to-5 and has a wife and kids at home, he's probably just going to tap because he doesn't want to get fucked up. He has a family to go to. He doesn't want to wake up with his neck all messed up. But if you go against a competitor, someone who has maybe someone younger who has some fight in them, you're going to be squeezing and they might escape. You might get it. But if they escape, your arms are going to be gassed. Or like if you guys have been at tournaments and you know that feeling I'm talking about where your arms are like, because you're hanging onto a choke that wasn't there. Okay? So oftentimes what I do is I'll get the head and arm, but I'm not working too hard to head and arm choke. I sag my hip because I know when I sag my hip, I know for sure I'm cinching that arm. So if Nate tries to like grab his arm and do the elbow over, where he tries to like get the arm over, I know that Nate knows that's not happening because of me sagging my weight, his arm's going to be trapped. So I'm leaving him with one option, which is to turn the other way. Now, as soon as I feel him try to turn, I allow him. You guys see how I lifted my chest, and when I feel it, I allow him, claw grip, right away snatch that wrist, gift wrap. Okay, now this is where, at this position, I call it like, it's kind of like a teeter-totter where I'm going to make Nate suffer either way. Sorry, Nate. Okay? We're right here. Most of us, what would we do in this situation? Most of us would chair sit. We'll try to take the back, do the basic jiu-jitsu thing. Okay, but that's cool. It's not going to take his soul. Okay? I want to take Nate's soul. I want him to name his kids after me. Okay? After I'm done with them. Okay? So here, I'm here. I get the gift wrap. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two things. Look, I'm going to flare my elbow. So I'm going to pin his wrist to the ground, and I'm going to flare my elbow. So I'm going to put weight over his neck. It's uncomfortable. So he's going to try to lay flat, but he can't lay flat. So he's going to try to go belly down. And then as he does, I flare my elbow. You guys see that? At the same time, this foot is blocking the bottom knee here. Okay, so let's replay. So head and arm, I sag my hip to make it uncomfortable. I feel him bridging. I allow him slide up to the gift wrap, grab my wrist, pin his wrist, let him try to go back to the mat, and I keep using my chest to roll him. Now look at my right foot's blocking his knee. Pin the wrist, flare the elbow, block the knee as he tries to go. So put pressure, boom. Sorry, Nate, I'm trying to do this as gentle as I can. You guys see the position? I'm forcing him to rear mount. Okay? Now from here, look at, there's two things, okay? I have a gift wrap right here. My right hand's gonna isolate the wrist because my left hand needs to be here to try to choke. But look at how I solidify the position here. Okay, when I get him over, I have one hook, right? I'm gonna weave, so I'm gonna get a crab ride hook with my other leg, okay? Okay, crab ride hook with my other leg, and then I'm gonna weave this foot over the top as I have Nate's wrist. So here, okay, roll the wrists underneath them and keep your hips bent. Nate, try to move. Okay, so if he can't move, I have a free hand. Now I'm going to start digging for the choke. We go ear to ear and we just finish it with one hand. Okay, or, okay, the only way out of this, guys, is for Nate to fight for his life out of it and use all his strength. So maybe he like tucks his arm back in, he rolls to his back. Boom. Okay, great. He used so much, there was no real like super technical way to get out of that other than just pure heart. Okay, you did good, kid. You did good. Here, he got back here. So if he's able to get his back flat to the mat, again, unfortunately for Nate, I'm going to cook him again. I have the wrist. This is where I'm going to start working. He has his elbow here. I'm going to start working for double unders here. Okay, let's turn this way. Sorry, Nate. Start working for double unders again. Suffering for Nate. Okay, I know like we should love our training partners, but there's just no nice way to do this. Again, I just want to make Nate quit. It could be all over if he just gives it to me, right? So I'm cooking him, slide my head forward. You start sliding to S mount. Boom. Okay, you can start attacking the arm locks from S mount. We have a whole video on that, so I'm not going to go too much in depth, but I'll start digging double underhooks. The other pathway, okay, I'm going double underhooks, but I can't get the second underhook. Nate's keeping his elbow tight. So then what I'm going to do, is I'm going to use my wrist. I'm going to pin his arm to his chest. I'm going to slide my knee over. Okay. Now from here, I'm going to do like a reverse S mount. So I know most of you are thinking triangle, which yes, you can do this way. I feel like a lot of people are prepared. So let's just talk about that real quick. You could slide, once you get your knee over, when you have the wrist, slide your left knee up. You can go mounted triangle. Okay, Nate's already suffering right here, so I'm going to try to be nice. Mounted triangle, and usually from here, I'll finish the arm bar like this. Okay, good. Okay, but more often than not, what happens is when you clear this, usually people know you're going to go for that, so they turn hard that way. So this is where I go to like a reverse S mount. You guys see that? Because like Nate knows I want to go triangle, so if I try to go triangle here, and I go like this and he bellies out, sometimes this can give me, I could lose the position there. So that's why for me, I don't know, everyone here at least has really good defense. So I'm always assuming when I make a move like this, they know what's next. So I turn actually the opposite way. Here, you guys see that? That way if Nate turns into me, I'm prepared to block him with that. Now I'm just gonna punch this arm through and I'm gonna short sit here, okay, with the leg behind the head. Now, I know he's gonna lock his hands, but I put Nate in a dilemma. Go ahead, lock your hands. If Nate sits up, I think we could all see this. If Nate decides to sit up, he's gonna sit up right into a triangle that I can adjust. Or, okay, if he stays here, okay, he looks to like get his head around my leg, pass, boom, we could isolate, still finish the arm lock. Okay, so if he stays and tries to escape by passing his arm over, or hit my leg over, hook behind the head, cross, and we'll finish. If he tries to sit up, allow them to sit up and start looking to adjust the triangle. Okay, so again, this is all a result of, okay, Nate fighting hard not to go belly down, so he explodes back. I try to get double underhooks. Okay, he fights his elbow to his body, so I stuff his arm, and I just slide my knee over. Now again, you could go mounted triangle. Like I said, I prefer to do it reverse because I'm anticipating they're gonna turn into me. I'm gonna keep the wrist. Now from here, I'm just gonna punch my arm through and sit, boom. This is the pit stop right here, chopping in. If he sits up triangle, he tries to pass around, hook, cross the leg over the head, finish. Okay, now there's one more. So we're in head and arm. Again, the initiation for this position. Okay, I sag my hip, Nate turns. So I allow him to turn, and I'm trying to get his wrist, but I can't get his wrist. So if you can't get his wrist, okay, one option I like to do is I like to go forearm to forearm, and I start creeping my chest over Nate's shoulder, and I'm trying to get my head to the mat. One, this is gonna create a lot of pressure. Sometimes people do tap from this. Okay, so again, I have like a claw, and I go forearm to forearm, and head goes over. Okay, now the key is to slide your knee up, okay? And now I'm just gonna keep cooking them until I can get the wrist. Then I'll continue to do that same thing. Or, okay, I'm here, forearm to forearm. Okay, I feel him really pushing off the mat. Okay, I adjust and then look at it with my hands. I'm going to turn my hand this way and grab my forearm like this. Okay? So I'm here, I'm going to turn, and then I'm going to slide my knee up and get a tap right here. It's like a modified head and arm. So the grip's like this. Again, you want to do that while they're still tilted that way, because you want to slide your hip up so they can't get their shoulder back to the mat. So here. So I can't get his wrist. He's keeping it away. So go forearm to forearm and start cooking him. Slide your knee up. Okay? Now look at how I release and bring my hand behind. Now to finish the choke, you're going to slide your knee and sag your hip. Finish right there. It's because my bottom forearm right here is like the blade is right there on the side of his neck, and his arm is caught over with all my weight blocking him. It's a modified head and arm. Okay? Really, it sucks for the person on bottom, but that's what I mean, guys. There's so much more to a head and arm than just hopping off to side control and finishing the choke. You can use this to really cook someone, fatigue them, make them not want to go either direction, or make it wherever they turn, it's like checkmate. And that's how you really submit, I think, the better people. You have to make them break. So let's go through it again. One more time, and then Nate can go back about his day. So here, okay, I get the head and arm. Okay, I'm not going to fight too hard for the head and arm because it might fatigue my arm. So all I do, flare the elbows, sag my hip. I know it closes off his ability to turn into me or release that arm, so he's got to turn away. I allow them to turn away. You can see how my chest blocks the shoulder blade. From here, our main priority is getting to that gift wrap. Now, from the gift wrap, the main priority is keep using your chest to rotate them. Okay? So as Nate tries to turn his back to the mat, he can't, so he keeps turning. I flare my elbow and I block his hip. Okay, once I get here, again, crab ride hook, and then lace my leg over the top as I fold the wrist in and I start going for the choke. He's a tough guy. Nate's a tough guy, so he's able to escape his back to the mat. Then we look to approach getting 2 underhooks. Take your time, cook them, slide up to S mount, do your thing there. You can't get the second underhook. Nate's elbow's tight. Look to clear his arm and either go mounted triangle or reverse S mount. From that position, look to sit through and attack the arm here, or the triangle if they sit up. And lastly, if you cannot get the gift wrap when Nate turns, okay, if you cannot get the gift wrap, we want to go forearm to forearm, keep their chest towards the ground, and we're going to look to slide up and look to transition to that modified head and arm here and finish. All right? All right, guys, so that's it for the head and arm. Maybe some of you guys have seen that stuff. Again, it's just, to me, it's like having a system of attacks. I think being a good finisher, like having positions where you're like, I know if I get you here, it's game over. That will elevate your game no matter what belt you are. I think because of sport, not to go on too much of a tangent, but I think because of like sport, that element of jiu-jitsu is kind of lost unless it's heel hooks. Like people don't think about fatiguing people. People don't think about jiu-jitsu as like a fight where you want to like take someone's will away and then implement your techniques, because everything can work. But what do you do when your opponent has good technique, good decision making, good jiu-jitsu? How do you finish someone like that? And the truth is whenever someone's fatigued, they're going to look for a way out. Our body just is wired that way. When we're exhausted and when we don't see a way out, we don't see a way of coming back into the fight, people quit. It's the number one thing. It's how you beat someone really good. So start to look at that. Look at positions, not just like today, but look at every finishing position, mount, back, side control, and think, how do I fatigue people from here? And how do I chain, okay, or create a system of attacks that just keeps your partner at checkmate the whole time? And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today about the head and arm. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, try it out. Leave us a comment. Let us know how it works. Let us know all your what ifs. What if this? What if that? I don't see how this is going to work. And we're going to genuinely try to help, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to push the martial art forward. We want people to learn. We want to learn. We want to get better. So if there's something you see or something you notice, let us know. Okay, as always, the next video will try to answer those questions that you guys leave us. And as always, please like and subscribe to support our channel. And if you guys are ever in the Los Angeles area, come visit your neighborhood dojo kata. All right, guys, see you on the next one.